The sterile white corridors of the astrobiology research complex hummed with an underlying tension. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before a holographic display, her deep brown eyes scanning the incomprehensible data patterns that danced before her. Something was different. Something was wrong. For weeks, she had been tracking anomalous quantum signatures at the edge of the solar system. Most of her colleagues dismissed her findings as statistical noise, the kind of background interference that came with pushing the boundaries of scientific observation. But Elena knew better. Her instincts, honed by years of studying extraterrestrial phenomena, were screaming a warning. The quantum fluctuations were not random. They were a message. "Computer," she called out, her voice crisp and controlled, "run quantum correlation analysis, Delta 7 protocol." The holographic display flickered, revealing intricate patterns that seemed to pulse with an almost organic rhythm. Dr. Marcus Wong, her research partner, walked into the lab. His perpetual skepticism was evident in the way he raised an eyebrow. "Another late night, Elena? You're going to burn yourself out chasing shadows." Elena didn't look away from the display. "These aren't shadows, Marcus. Look closer. These quantum signatures have a structure. They're too precise to be natural phenomena." Marcus leaned in, his technical expertise quickly replacing his initial dismissiveness. The quantum patterns showed a complexity that defied current scientific understanding. They were synchronized, almost like a language waiting to be deciphered. "This is impossible," he muttered, fingers flying across the holographic interface. "The level of quantum coherence here, it suggests an intelligence far beyond our current technological capabilities." Outside the research complex, the world continued its routine. Autonomous vehicles glided through city streets, solar-powered skyscrapers reflected the early morning sunlight, and millions of people went about their daily lives, unaware of the potential cosmic revelation brewing in this small laboratory. Elena's communication device chirped. It was a secure line from the Global Science Consortium. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, the head of interstellar research, appeared on the screen. His usually composed face looked troubled. "Rodriguez," he began without preamble, "our deep space monitoring stations have detected something. Your quantum research might be more critical than we initially thought." The holographic display shifted, showing data from multiple observation points. Massive quantum distortions were emerging near the outer planetary orbits. They weren't random cosmic events. They were structured. Controlled. "We believe," Dr. Tanaka continued, "we are experiencing first contact." Marcus let out a low whistle. "First contact? You mean alien communication?" Elena completed his sentence. Her mind was already racing, analyzing the implications. First contact had been humanity's theoretical speculation for centuries. Now, it was becoming a reality. The quantum signatures began to coalesce, forming complex geometric patterns that seemed to pulse with an intelligence that was simultaneously alien and comprehensible. It was as if the universe itself was trying to communicate, using the fundamental language of quantum mechanics. Dr. Tanaka's image continued, "We need your team to prepare for potential communication. These signals suggest an intelligence that operates on principles we've only begun to understand. They're not just sending a message. They're testing our capacity to receive it." Elena's mind was a whirlwind of scientific excitement and profound concern. This wasn't just about discovering extraterrestrial life. This was about understanding a form of intelligence that could redefine everything humanity knew about communication, technology, and existence itself. "We're going to need a multidisciplinary team," she said to Marcus, who was already pulling up personnel files. "Quantum physicists, linguists, neurobiologists, computer scientists. We need to be prepared for anything." The quantum signatures continued their mesmerizing dance, a cosmic invitation that humanity was about to answer. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would challenge everything they understood about intelligence, adaptation, and the very nature of existence. 48 hours after the initial quantum transmission, the Global Science Consortium's Emergency Response Center buzzed with an intensity that bordered on controlled chaos. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of a holographic command hub, surrounded by the most brilliant minds humanity could assemble. To her left, Dr. Kine Kosi, a quantum encryption specialist from the African Union's Advanced Technologies Division, manipulated complex data streams. To her right, Commander Rachel Alvarez, a former military strategic analyst, studied the emerging patterns with a tactical eye. "The signals are changing," Kai announced, his fingers dancing across a quantum interface that seemed to respond to his touch. "They're not just communication. They're probing. Testing our technological limits." Rachel leaned forward, her military training evident in every precise movement. "Probing for what? Weakness? Potential threat assessment?" Elena studied the quantum signatures that continued to pulse and shift. "I don't think it's about weakness. It's like a complex handshake. They're trying to understand our computational and cognitive capabilities." The team had quickly discovered that the Nexus Collective, as they'd begun to call the unknown entities, communicated through quantum entanglement, a method of information transfer that defied traditional understanding of communication, space, and time. Dr. Marcus Wong entered the room, carrying a portable quantum analyzer. "We've isolated a recurring pattern in the transmissions. It's not just random noise. There's a definitive structure, almost like a language, but not one based on sound or visual symbols." A massive screen displayed the quantum signatures, intricate, beautiful, and terrifyingly complex geometric patterns that seemed to fold and unfold in impossible dimensions. They were alive with information, pulsing with an intelligence that was simultaneously familiar and utterly alien. Commander Alvarez wasn't convinced of peaceful intentions. "We need a defensive strategy. These signals could be a prelude to something more aggressive." Kai disagreed. "Or they could be a test of our comprehension. Every attempt at communication requires mutual understanding." The debate was interrupted by a sudden shift in the quantum patterns. The geometric shapes became more aggressive, their movements more rapid and intense. The room's temperature seemed to drop, and the electronic equipment began to fluctuate. "Something's changing," Elena muttered. "They're escalating the communication protocol." Suddenly, a burst of quantum information flooded their systems. It wasn't a message in any traditional sense, it was a complex mathematical equation that seemed to describe a fundamental universal principle, yet was so advanced that only fragments could be comprehended. Dr. Wong's quantum analyzer began to overheat. "They're pushing our technological boundaries. This isn't just communication, it's a challenge." The team watched in a mixture of terror and awe as the quantum signatures began to form what looked like a three-dimensional blueprint. It wasn't a weapon or a threat, it was a problem. A cosmic puzzle that seemed to be saying, "Can you solve this?" Commander Alvarez recognized the challenge for what it was. "They're testing our problem-solving capabilities. Our adaptability." Elena nodded. "Humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to adapt, to solve the impossible. This is their way of measuring us." The room fell silent as the quantum blueprint continued to expand, revealing layers of complexity that pushed the very limits of human understanding. It was more than a message. It was an invitation. A test. The Nexus Collective was watching. And humanity was about to show them exactly what they were capable of. "We need a team," Elena announced, her voice cutting through the tension. "Not just scientists. We need creative thinkers. Engineers. Philosophers. People who can see beyond the conventional." Marcus smiled. "Essentially, we need the most human team possible." As if in response, the quantum signatures pulsed, a cosmic acknowledgement of the challenge that was about to begin. The resistance wasn't about fighting. It was about understanding. About proving that human potential knew no bounds. The Quantum Adaptation Center had been constructed in record time, a testament to human engineering and determination. Located in a remote region of the Andes Mountains, the facility was a marvel of technological innovation, designed to be both a research hub and a defensive stronghold. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before the assembled team, a group as diverse as humanity itself. There was Dr. Aisha Patel, a theoretical physicist with a background in comparative mythology. Beside her, Jack Rodriguez, no relation to Elena, a street-smart engineer who had built breakthrough communication systems for remote communities. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, now acting as a senior advisor, watched with a mixture of hope and apprehension. The quantum blueprint, Elena began, is more than just a message. It's a multidimensional problem that requires us to think beyond linear approaches. Jack leaned forward, his hands already sketching potential solutions on a holographic interface. It's like a cosmic Rubik's Cube, but with infinite sides. Aisha nodded. Exactly. Traditional computational methods won't work. We need to approach this with creativity, with an understanding that goes beyond pure mathematics. The team had discovered that the quantum signatures contained what seemed to be a complex systems challenge, a problem that required simultaneous solving across multiple dimensions of thought. It wasn't just about finding a solution, it was about demonstrating the unique human capacity for adaptive thinking. Dr. Kain Kosi brought up a series of holographic projections. Look at how the quantum patterns respond. They're not static. They change based on our approach. It's like a living puzzle. Commander Rachel Alvarez, typically focused on strategic matters, saw something deeper. This isn't just a test of our technological capabilities. It's a test of our cognitive flexibility. Over the next weeks, the team developed an unprecedented approach. Instead of relying solely on advanced computing, they began to incorporate diverse problem-solving methods. Artists worked alongside mathematicians. Philosophers collaborated with engineers. They created a holistic approach that defied traditional scientific methodologies. A breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Maria Gomez, a young programmer who had grown up in a resource-limited community, suggested an approach inspired by traditional problem-solving methods used in her hometown. We're thinking too linearly, she explained. Sometimes, the solution comes from seeing the problem differently. Her method involved a radical reinterpretation of the quantum blueprint. Instead of trying to solve it directly, the team began to understand it as a form of communication, a language that required intuition as much as logic. The Nexus Collective seemed to be watching. The quantum signatures would pulse differently when the team approached the problem from unique angles. It was as if the alien intelligence was learning about humanity through their problem-solving process. They're not just testing our intelligence, Elena realized during a late-night strategy session. They're studying our adaptability. Our capacity to think beyond our own limitations. A critical moment came when the team realized the quantum blueprint was actually a multidimensional representation of a fundamental universal challenge. It wasn't just a test, it was an invitation to understand a deeper cosmic principle. Jack had a breakthrough moment. It's not about solving the problem, he announced. It's about the process of solving. The creativity. The collaboration. The quantum signatures began to change, becoming more intricate, more responsive. The Nexus Collective was learning about humanity's most powerful attribute, its ability to adapt, to collaborate, to see beyond the obvious. Commander Alvarez summed it up best: we're not just responding to a challenge. We're demonstrating what makes humanity unique. As the day drew to a close, the quantum blueprint continued to pulse, a cosmic conversation that was just beginning to reveal its true depth. Humanity had taken its first step in a dialogue that would challenge everything they knew about intelligence, communication, and their place in the universe. The resistance was evolving. And the Nexus Collective was watching, learning, understanding. The psychological impact of the quantum communication had become as critical as its scientific implications. Dr. Elena Rodriguez found herself in uncharted territory, studying not just the external challenge posed by the Nexus Collective, but the internal transformation happening within the human team. Dr. Ayesha Patel had developed a groundbreaking analysis of the team's cognitive responses. It's more than just problem solving, she explained during a critical briefing. We're witnessing a collective psychological evolution. The Quantum Adaptation Center had transformed. What had started as a research facility had become something more, a crucible of human potential. The quantum signatures seemed to respond not just to mathematical solutions, but to emotional and creative inputs. Jack Rodriguez noticed something peculiar during their latest interaction attempt. The quantum patterns shift when we experience genuine emotional breakthroughs, he observed. It's like the Nexus Collective is more interested in our thought process than in the actual solution. Commander Rachel Alvarez saw it as a form of psychological warfare, but not in the traditional sense. They're testing our mental resilience, she argued. Our ability to maintain coherence under unprecedented cognitive stress. A series of experiments revealed something extraordinary. When team members approached the quantum challenge from completely unexpected angles, moments of pure creativity, intuitive leaps, or even seemingly random associations, the quantum signatures would become more complex, more engaging. Maria Gomez discovered a breakthrough during what seemed like a moment of complete frustration. Exhausted after weeks of intense research, she had begun to sketch abstract patterns inspired by her childhood memories. The quantum blueprint responded with unprecedented complexity. It's not about finding the right answer, Maria explained. It's about the journey of thinking itself. Dr. Kain Kosi developed a theory. The Nexus Collective isn't just communicating, he proposed. They're learning. They're trying to understand the fundamental nature of human consciousness. Psychological profiles of the team began to show remarkable changes. Traditional measures of intelligence became meaningless. Instead, qualities like adaptability, emotional intelligence, and creative thinking emerged as critical factors. An unexpected participant joined the research, a local artist named Carlos Ramirez. Initially brought in to provide creative perspectives, he became a crucial team member. His ability to see patterns beyond logical constraints proved invaluable. Humans are not linear beings, Carlos explained during a breakthrough session. We're a beautiful chaos of emotions, memories, and potential. The quantum signatures began to reflect this complexity. What had once appeared as rigid, mathematical patterns now pulsed with an almost organic quality. It was as if the Nexus Collective was learning to think like humans, or perhaps, humans were learning to think like the Nexus Collective. A critical moment came during a seemingly ordinary team meeting. Elena realized that their greatest strength wasn't in their individual brilliance, but in their collective ability to support, challenge, and inspire each other. We're more than just a research team, she told the group. We're a living, breathing demonstration of human potential. The psychological frontier was proving to be the most critical battleground. The Nexus Collective wasn't just studying human intelligence, they were witnessing the very essence of human spirit. Commander Alvarez summed it up perfectly: our minds are our most powerful weapon. And we're just beginning to understand their true potential. As night fell over the Quantum Adaptation Center, the quantum signatures continued their mesmerizing dance, a cosmic conversation that was becoming increasingly complex, increasingly human. The psychological resistance had begun. And humanity was ready to show the universe exactly what that meant. The world outside the Quantum Adaptation Center had changed dramatically. Global collaboration had reached unprecedented levels, driven by the mysterious quantum communication that continued to challenge humanity's understanding of technology and intelligence. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before a massive holographic display, watching as breakthrough after breakthrough transformed human technological capabilities. The interaction with the Nexus Collective had become a catalyst for innovation beyond anything previously imagined. Dr. Kain Kosi unveiled the latest development, a quantum communication network that defied previous limitations of space and time. We're not just improving our technology, he explained, we're fundamentally reimagining what technology can be. Jack Rodriguez had been working on something revolutionary. A hybrid system that merged biological neural networks with quantum computing, creating a form of intelligence that was neither purely human nor artificial. "It's like we're learning to speak a new language," he said, demonstrating a prototype that seemed to breathe and pulse with an almost living intelligence. The technological leaps were happening at an exponential rate. What would have taken decades was now being accomplished in weeks. Maria Gomez had developed a computational framework that could process multiple dimensions simultaneously, inspired by the way the quantum signatures seemed to exist in multiple states at once. Commander Rachel Alvarez recognized the strategic implications. "This isn't just about technological advancement," she pointed out during a critical briefing. "This is a complete reimagining of human potential." An unexpected breakthrough came from an unlikely source. Carlos Ramirez, the artist who had joined the team, had developed a visualization technique that allowed humans to perceive the quantum communications in ways that traditional scientific methods could not. His work bridged art, psychology, and quantum physics in a way no one had previously conceived. The Nexus Collective seemed to be responding to these innovations. The quantum signatures became more intricate, more engaging, as if the alien intelligence was both challenging and celebrating human creativity. Dr. Ayesha Patel discovered something profound. "The technology we're developing," she explained, "isn't just about solving external challenges. It's about expanding our own understanding of consciousness, of existence itself." A global network of researchers, once divided by national and institutional boundaries, now worked in unprecedented harmony. The quantum challenge had become a unifying force, demonstrating humanity's capacity for collective achievement. The most remarkable development came from an experimental quantum interface that seemed to blur the lines between communication and direct experience. Researchers could now almost feel the quantum signatures, experiencing them as a form of multidimensional language that transcended traditional modes of understanding. Jack Rodriguez's hybrid neural quantum system made a breakthrough that sent shockwaves through the scientific community. "We're not just observing the quantum communication," he announced during a global broadcast. "We're beginning to understand it on a fundamental level." The technological revolution was more than just a series of innovations. It was a complete transformation of human potential. Carlos Ramirez captured the essence of this moment perfectly. "We're not just developing new technology," he said. "We're evolving. We're becoming something more than we were." As the day drew to a close, the quantum signatures continued their mesmerizing dance, now more complex, more alive than ever before. Humanity stood on the brink of a new era, with the Nexus Collective watching, learning, challenging. The technological resistance had become a technological renaissance.